professional 32-inch OLED color calibrated monitor on your desk for $1,699. That's really, I think, a very good price performance ratio.
Hi guys, I'm Johnny from CineD and I'm here with Gunther, my friend. Gunther, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Gunther is actually in charge on all our lab tests, and every time that we have something technical, we ask Gunther to test it. And today we are actually testing a new monitor right here. And the monitor is from ASUS, and the name, you know, those names are always very complicated. It's the ASUS ProArt PA32UCDM.
Very good job, Johnny.
Why can't they just call them nice names?
I don't know, it's a technical name. I can relate to that.
So you had this monitor for quite a few months.
Yeah.
But before we even start and dive into specifications and all of that important stuff, why do we actually need a proper monitor for our work?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And actually, to be honest, I confess that I'm guilty of not having looked into a proper color calibrated monitor so far. I did my editing stuff always on a nice little monitor that I purchased a few years ago. And I was always frustrated when I was looking at my footage on my editing monitor. Then I took it to my living room, put it on the big display, on the big 50-inch OLED display that I have in my living room, and it never matched. And also on my phone, when I looked at it, it never matched. And now I understand why, because it's the first time I have a proper professional color calibrated monitor in my editing bay now. And just to show you how the difference could look like, I made a little clip that we are going to watch now about the importance of a color calibrated monitor. So let's roll that first, Johnny, and then we'll continue. So here is my situation. I have a trusted 4-year-old Samsung 21:9 monitor, which is great for video editing. And now I want to create a clip of my kids. It's a little bit greenish, so I will add some tint. Yeah, that's not so bad already. It's actually still a little bit bluish, so I think we still need to add some temperature here. So yeah, this looks quite good. Now I have switched over to the new ProArt ASUS display, and it immediately becomes obvious that what I created on the other monitor looks way too colorful in terms of color saturation, but also way too warm to me now. Also there's a pinkish tint now in the image that I have to remove. That's way too much. Yeah, I think this looks way more natural now. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I was completely off on the other monitor. That there is such a difference. Have a look yourself.
Gunther, so now we've seen different images, and obviously it's very important to have a calibrated monitor, and we all have this issue. You usually live with what you have, and then you're wondering about why it doesn't look good on some devices. What are the main strengths of this ASUS 32-inch monitor as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the spec list, it is quite impressive. It has 4K UHD, it is HDR capable, it has 1000 nits of peak brightness, but also true black, like is typical for OLED monitors. It has very low latency, 0.1 milliseconds latency. This is important for gamers. My son doing some gaming on this monitor as well. It has 240 Hertz refresh rate, which is super fast in 4K. And of course, the color calibration thing, it comes calibrated out of the factory already. And ASUS claims that it covers 100% of sRGB. It covers 99% of DCI P3 color gamut. We are going to look at these numbers later because we did our own tests, of course. And the delta E, so meaning the color accuracy, is less than 1. What does it mean, delta E? It's typically comparing the value of a displayed color on the monitor versus the input color that is put.
Walk me through the process of calibrating. What is important here?
Yeah, I mean, calibration, as mentioned with a device, for instance, like a Datacolor Spider Pro, but there are many other brands out there as well. These are small colorimeters that are basically, you put them on your screen and they measure the signal. So the colors, the color gamut, the luminance, the contrast, and those kind of things. And they come with the software, of course. And let me quickly show you how I did it on my setup at home when I was using this ASUS ProArt monitor. So let's have a look at that quickly. I'm now starting the color calibration using the ASUS ProArt calibration software, where you can connect the colorimeter directly to the monitor and can use the monitor then across multiple devices. So I'm going to start now the software on the MacBook Air of my son, and here we go. So I'm getting now a very nice ASUS color calibration report, and you can see we are getting very accurate results for gamma, white point, maximum brightness, the delta E for all the different colors. They are all below 1. An average of delta E, we are getting 0.22. That's a very good result. However, the interesting part is now, if I launch the Datacolor Spider Pro calibration software and start my tests, I'm not getting the same result. And this is now on the Apple MacBook Air. And what we can see is we're getting a different result with a maximum delta E deviation of 1.93. All the other colors are rather good, but it's strange that actually the ASUS calibration tool gives all colors way less than 1. I have switched over to my Windows system, and now I'm curious to see if I test with the Datacolor Spider Pro again, what kind of results we are getting. So let's go. Have a look. And now what kind of delta E are we getting? We've got 1.2 now as a final result. So as you can see, the ASUS ProArt calibration directly on the monitor is also improving the Datacolor Spider Pro result. So that's very nice. However, I don't understand, we still have these inconsistencies. For one, we're getting 97% DCI-P3, whereas ASUS claims 99, and the ASUS ProArt calibration claims a delta E after calibration of 0.22, versus on the Mac OS I'm getting 1.9 delta E, and on the Windows system I'm getting now 1.2. It's a very good result, but it's not below 1. So I cannot explain the inconsistencies observed here, but my recommendation is definitely to test the monitor and calibrate the monitor with the ASUS ProArt calibration software.
Thank you, Gunther. Just a quick question about the drifting color. That happens after the calibration also? So you have to calibrate every
month, every 2 months, depending on your usage. I would suggest every month that you should run a quick calibration, because it doesn't take long, you have seen it. And then you're sure it's accurate, because let's talk about some of the numbers. The ASUS ProArt display comes with a factory report about the calibration, and they show in a very nice manner that this delta E, meaning the accuracy of the colors, was less than 1. Yeah? And the maximum they showed out of the factory was like 0.6 or so. Over the 3 months, it has come up to a delta E of 3. So 5 times less accurate, if you want, than when it was coming calibrated from the factory. And now, after the calibration again, we are getting a result where most of the colors are below 1. I think it's a very good result. What we also have to mention, that there's a special feature of that monitor. This is called the ProArt hardware calibration. You can plug in this Datacolor Spider device also directly on the monitor. The monitor has a couple of USB inputs. You can plug it in directly and then via Thunderbolt use the ProArt calibration software. So it's not connected to a color profile that you save on your operating system, meaning you can use this monitor across multiple devices then with this calibration. Now you can plug in the PlayStation, you can plug in an Apple iMac, and you can plug in a Windows machine, and the calibration stays the same because it's done on the monitor.
One of those sicknesses of all those monitors is burn-in something, which kind of you can see if it was a logo or a name or TV station or whatever. How this specific monitor is combating this phenomenon?
Yeah, it has a thing called pixel shift technology, where it basically, the screen itself has more pixels than UHD, and it shifts the image slightly between these additional pixels to prevent a burn-in. I think that's a nice technology. I mean, time will tell if it works as advertised.
When it comes to the actual usability of the monitor, because I touched it a little bit and I saw this kind of, sliding up and down. It's all very elegant.
Yeah, very elegant, very solid build. It is, you can adjust it in all directions, like up and down. You can tilt it, even the inclination angle you can change. And the monitor stand is built very solidly. And the whole impression of this monitor, it's a high quality product.
We will talk about the high quality in conjunction to the pricing in one second, because I think that's one of the things that's really surprising us most. Usually when you see that kind of quality, you really expect it to come in a very high price tag, and here it's actually very much manageable. So we are talking here about an HDR monitor, very advanced, new, latest technologies.
So far we have seen OLED screens, like the 50-inch screens or 55-inch screens. We have seen that in our living rooms. And I was always wondering in the past years, why is it not coming down to desktops, like where you need like 32-inch or 30-inch or something like that. And so far it did not happen. And when the first monitors came in OLED for your desktop in 32-inch, they were like $4,000, $5,000. So it was very expensive. And you could only choose between an LED or IPS screen for gaming and stuff, but you could not afford it really because $4,000 is out of my price bracket. But with this monitor now, I think a professional color calibrated monitor on your desk, 32-inch OLED with all that capabilities, that's really, I think, a very good price-performance ratio.
I mean, if this is your profession and you need the editing for living, that sounds actually quite affordable.
And I think that's also what was the intention of ASUS, because when we talked to them, they mentioned this should be a professional device also for animation studios, for small production houses, to have HDR content on their screens that they can preview that.
Would you like to see that type of monitor keep the screen itself and all the functionality, but have something even more solid that can live in the studio?
Yes, this would be great, I think, but also that you can maybe take it on set as a preview monitor, so it needs to be more robust for the environment you have on the set. But I think this would be a very good idea.
Gunther, of course there is no perfect monitor. What are the downsides of having that monitor?
Looking at the test results, I mean, ASUS claims 99% DCI-P3 coverage of the color space, and we measured only 97.
Do you know anything about availability of the monitor?
Yeah, so actually when this review is now published, it should be available on the market already.
Gunther, thank you very much. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Guys, new monitor, check it out. Maybe this is something that you've been waiting for. And in any case, thank you very much for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.